things, Charlie," Hunter scolded the man. "You and your fantods and making things up. You should be ashamed of yourself." "He did, I swear." A woman's sonorous, somewhat sarcastic voice cut through Anders' complaint. "Excuse me, gentlemen. Excuse me. Do you mind if I interrupt your eminently important and impressively articulate conversation?" The plea had come from below and on Buchanan's side of the stage. He glanced over his left shoulder to see one of his and Anders' two passengers poking her head out of the coach's left side window. Blinking against the billowing dust, Miss Laura Myers gazed beseechingly up toward the driver's box. "I'd like to request a nature stop if you would, please." Hunter and Charlie Anders shared a weary look. Miss Myers, who'd boarded the stage in Cheyenne a few days ago, was from the east by way of Denver. Now, Hunter had known plenty of Eastern folks who were not royal pains in the backside. Miss Myers was not one of them. She was grossly ill-prepared for travel in the West. She'd not only not realized that the trip between Cheyenne and Tigerville in the Dakota Territory took a few days, she'd not realized that stagecoach travel was a far cry from the more comfortable style coach and buggy and train travel to which she'd become accustomed back east of the Mississippi. Here there was dust and heat, the stench of male sweat and said male's infernal and ubiquitous tobacco use. Hunter didn't know what ubiquitous meant, but he'd been able to tell by the woman's tone that it wasn't complimentary. At least, not in the way she had used it. Also, the trail up from Cheyenne into the Black Hills was not as comfortable as, say, a ride in an open chaise across a grassy eastern meadow on a balmy Sunday afternoon in May. Out here, there were steep hills, narrow canyons, perilous river crossings, the heavy alkali mire along Indian Creek, and, once you were in the hills themselves, twisting, winding trails with enough chuck holes and washouts to keep the Concord rocking on its leather thoroughbraces until you thought you must have eaten flying fish for breakfast. Several times over the past 2 days, Miss Myers had heralded the need for Hunter to stop the coach so she could bound out of it in a swirl of skirts and petticoats and hurl herself into the bushes to air her paunch. So far, they hadn't been accosted by owl hoots. They'd even made it through the dangerous country around the Robber's Roost relay station without having a single bullet hurled at them from one of the many haystack bluffs in that area. Nor an arrow, for that matter. Indians, primarily Red Cloud Sioux, understandably miffed by the treaty the government had broken to allow gold-seeking settlers into the Black Hills, had been a problem on nearly every run Hunter had been on in the past year. He'd started driving for the stage company after his family's ranch had been burned by a rival rancher and the man's business partner, his 2 brothers murdered, his father, old Angus, seriously wounded. He wanted to say as much to the lady, a pretty one at that, staring up at him now from the coach's left side window, but he knew she'd have none of it. She was a fish out of water here, and in dire straits. He could see it in her eyes. She was not only road-weary, but world-weary as well. Though they'd left the 10-mile ranch station only 20 minutes ago, after a 15-minute break, and would arrive in Tigerville after only another 10 miles, she needed to stop. "Hold on, ma'am. I'll pull these cayuses to a stop at the bottom of the next hill." She blinked in disgust and pulled her head back into the coach. "Thank you, Mr. Buchanan," Charlie Anders called with an ironic mix of mockery and chiding. "Now, Charlie," Hunter admonished his partner as the 6 horses pulled the coach up and over a low